Welcome to this channel. The channel is for education and culture based on historical and scientific evidence. So 2 days ago, I shared the video on breath management. And after that, many of our Wing Chun friends, traditional Chinese martial art friends in the West and in Asia contacted me, discussed with me on the breathing. Well, we really need to face the reality now, because we know that without that breathing and intra-abdominal pressure handling, the entire so-called martial art doesn't work or cannot work effectively. So this is what Chinese martial art face today. It is a general problem. Now, today's traditional Chinese martial arts or Chinese Kung Fu in Asia and in the West also have turned into some kinds of cult. Serious. It is some kinds of cult. It is no longer martial art like the karate, Western boxing, MMA, or Thai boxing. It turned into some kind of cult. If you look at the pattern in the past, say, 100 years, the Chinese martial arts in the past 100 years have a pattern of first they going to select somebody to make him the god of the religion, and then everybody take this person as the god, and everybody prays to it, homage it, separating, passing stories, making up stories, continue on, and then you see people will start to say, this grandmaster called me as the king of this or the king of that. Well, that is a religion. That is a cult type of thing. Okay? So you have the god up there and the spokesman of the god, the king of the god, and everybody is down here. Now, what happened is, in those type of system, people always talk about in the past. In the past, this grandmaster's teacher is this Superman. This grandmaster do this, do that, do that, do that. You never see they teach or be able to educate a young generations, which is can evolve the system. They always go back to the God and the God's king or the God's spokesman. So it is actually a type of religion and cult. It trapped into that circle which they draw, and that's what it is. Chinese Kung Fu. You look at it, it is taking this type of pattern. Well, those stuff is good for money making. Once you set up that way, the God's king, and then everybody is down there, then you collect money automatically. Because who is going to question the God? Nobody's going to question the God. Who can question the religion? Nobody can question the religion. So everybody obey and pay the money, and the God is always God. Whoever under there is always under there, the people, and then or the follower, and then the God have the God's son, and he too, Superman. Okay, that's how it is. You look around, the Chinese kung fu have become like that. Okay, living in a certain reality, which is part away from our real life reality. Now, while in the same time, MMA, Western boxing grow and expand, every generations have educated and trained good player. And the Chinese system is always there, locked inside their circle, their cage. To be exact, 1930, at around 1930, the Chinese historian like Tang Hao and the martial artists like Ma Li Tang want to change that. But too bad, it never changed. Due to you have the Chinese have the civil war and all kinds of things. And what left and grow is exactly what is they want to get rid of 100 years ago. And those people are really, they are scientific people. They educate in other country, they educate in the university 100 years ago. So they know. They start to use Western medicines to map into their training. You look at like Mr. Ma Li Tang, or you know, he practiced Xing Yi. You look at the book he wrote, he have Western medicine stuff there where they talk about heart rate, breathing rate. Okay. So even like Qigong, if you look at like the Grandmaster Zhou Qianchuan, he's also Western trained. And even he is the top Qigong practitioner. He's using the Western science to explain, to experiment on what is the Chinese have. But it's too bad that it become like this today. Now, we cannot change the world. There's no way we can change Asia. Okay? And of course, in the West, people study that. There are people who went to Asia and they study with some God, and then they say, hey man, I want to be my own God too. So they go out, they break away from the religion and start their own religion. And that's what happened. But still, is this the same type of pattern? So it is, the situation is like this. And so when Xi Xiaodong and MMA people look at it, say, you know, what the heck are you guys doing? Okay. So that is the reality. And now, like I share with you, if you cannot breathe, cannot handle your intra-abdominal pressure, what are you doing? You practically cannot move your body. Like today, people say, you know, internal art, you're supposed to use your 丹田. Okay? You look around, everybody have their interpretations of Dantian. So what is Dantian? You know what? You can sit down there, argue about Dantian is 3 inch under your navel or 3 inch under your navel and 3 inch inside your body, whatever, whatever. It is the center of energy or chi or whatever. And some even call it the center of gravity, blah, blah, blah. What good is that? It is like we sitting here talking about. You know, chi is energy. What is that energy got to do with me? Asking that question. Yet, if you handle the breathing properly, you handle your intra-abdominal pressure properly, automatically, naturally, you are using the Dantian. So why should I say, oh yeah, you know, you always have to pay attention to your center of gravity. You always have to pay attention to your chi under your navel. There's a Dantian. I mean, forget about it. You just train, keeping train your breathing and intra-abdominal pressure. Why do you think those ancient Chinese have to train their student in their basic training for 3 months, standing in the horse stands or standing the horse stand, walking, sprinting? Well, that is to train to develop that breathing and the intra-abdominal pressure so that it can move the body and have the energy to move the body. It is not standing there, I want to have a structure. I want my anus this way. I want my spine this way. Are you kidding? So internal, what internal? It is not even what the ancient Chinese talk about. External. It is known, well known in the practice of Chinese Kung Fu when they go external, or even for people who do internal. But mostly it's external. Why? Because internal will say, I do it really slow, soft, effortless, do not use strength. Then my Dantian energy will come out, and according to my center of gravity, then I like a ball, okay, keeping hallucination inside there. That's called internal art. The external will say, well, you know, I want to be really strong. I make my sets, I practice my set really fast, abrupt, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? They all breathe with their chest, with their chest. And then some teacher will find out, oh, if I breathe deeper, then I have more power. So they force themselves to breathe deeper. Now that create problem. That's why the external guy, the internal guy say the external guy always have problem with their health. Well, why do they have the problem with their health? Because they don't know how to breathe properly and they force the breathing. So the external people say, hey, your internal people is just wimpy. And then the internal people say, you external people is just no can do with your health. So you quarrel for 100 years, both have no idea what the heck is going on. This is what happened today. So Xi Xiaodong come and then everybody collapse. Nobody dare to say one thing. Why? Because nobody really know what is going on. Nobody even care to look into the ancient on what are they talking about. As for the Western science, yesterday there is a person from China. who claim he is internal and he is a Chinese medicine doctor. He told me this. He said, Hendrik, you are brainwashed by the scientific data. When I am practice my Chinese medicine, I don't even want to look at the lab's blood tests, the lab work, the blood work. Man, this is 2023. Okay. I just don't tell him in public that, do you know that? About 15 years ago or 13 years ago, I was studying Six Healing Sound and I was in the Chinese forum on the Six Healing Sound. And one of the friends told me, he said that, you know, Hendrik, that's very sad because that is a person who is pretty poor and he developed cancer. And so because the medical cost is really high, he stopped the Western treatment. He thought that Six Healing Sound can help him. End up that he passed away. It is really sad thing, okay? So I wrote this. If you look at the last chapter I wrote there, I'm not waiting anymore because now nobody will really take anything seriously. Everybody want to go their religion, everybody want to go their direction, and everybody want to know what to go whatever they think they are right. They don't care what the ancient Chinese say. They don't care what is the science have been proven. That's why I have enough of it. I have 64-year-old this year. If I die tomorrow, I die tomorrow, but at least I live this with you guys. The Chinese, ancient Chinese, the Western science, okay? We need to make things work. It's not just going through all this religion, Kung Fu religion or Kung Fu cult, okay? There's a lot of things. So many friends this year they say, "Oh, Hendrik, I read this book already. Is too much. I have to read it twice." Sure. Why should I write a book? Write a book that you read it once and then you throw it away? Just because I have my picture inside there and this grandmaster that got that legend. There's a lot of things here. Okay. For example, most of you will not know. Okay, look at that. That 4 point, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this spine. Do you know that? Do you know that our friend in jiu-jitsu, judo, when he go to the ground, is trying to control, to lock all this 4 point? Do you know their technique is targeted to lock this 4 point? If we have no idea what is our opponent's intention, we have no idea that 4 points, and we say, well, structure, good luck. Why? Because you might as well give your entire body to your opponent. Because what they want is that 4 point. They lock you, you're dead. So if you every day is training as a structure, lock up your 4 point, it's just like your car. You locked out all your 4 wheel. That will be easy for people to just trash it. So what can I say? I really don't know what to say. Speechless. So you still believe in all this tan sao, fuk sao, bong sao, and then all this thing? Come on. When you don't know how to breathe, you don't know how to handle your intra-abdominal pressure, which is a core stability, you cannot move. Don't tell me that you can punch really powerful, blah, blah, blah. When you versus those trained martial artists, it is a different story. That's the reality. Not to mention that, this book is targeted so that we be able to make use of it, not to fight, but in our daily life. We're going to grow old, or us going to grow old. We know our breathing, we know our intra-abdominal pressure, we know the intra pressure that inside there. I mentioned many things. We know about the body handling, the breathing handling, meaning that we can live better at older age. You like it or not, our body is going to degrade. Okay? We need to take care of our body. Who are going to take care of us when we are old? So it is a big problem. Until this problem solved, make it scientific. Now, why am I so meticulous, so picky that I want to make it so that everything is scientific related and be able to monitor it, to track it? Go back to the past 100 years. You talk dantian, you talk energy, you talk spine, you talk anus. But you don't know the reality is that breathing and that intra-abdominal pressure and the four parts of body I just shared with you. Now, what is the chance that you'll be able to handle your body if you don't know this? Somebody might born strong, they get lucky and they say, well, I can do it. I'm the best fighter. But most of the people have no idea what is going on. And most of the people will never be able to handle their things. Why? Because one do not know the specific cause and effect of what is control what, how thing works. So you have 100 years of that. And you look at this, say, why are you wasting this energy of the people? Why are you wasting the knowledge of the ancient Chinese? Why are you wasting the Western science? Why don't you put together so everybody be able to get it? No religion. So that's why in this channel I said it's education. Why? It's like university. You don't want to set up a god like me. I'm the supreme Hendrik Santo, the supreme master or supreme grandmaster. Then you got somebody who like, oh yeah, who is always come chat with me in my video as the king of this, a king of that. And then everybody start to collect money. Because everybody is king. If you want to study with us, we want to make it like a university. This is supposed to be the text of the basic science of Kung Fu, not just Wing Chun. Okay? Only this way everybody benefit. You can have people who train 2-3 months and know their body. Like there's a friend about a month ago, he asked me about the training. So I say, why, go study the 6 core element. And then he really mean it. He got his book, the 6 core element, the basic Wing Chun and science books. And then I said, hey, if you do it, Make sure you take note on every part of the books and do the observations. And then he did that, and then he said, "Oh, now I'm going to use it in my daily life. I'm going to use it in my mindfulness meditations. I'm going to use it this and that." Isn't things supposed to be like that? People use it. It doesn't matter you are in the Earth, in California, or in the Mars, or in the Venus. Hey, all the science stuff is so that everybody be able to use it. Okay? So let's get back to the really simple, the breathing and the intra-abdominal pressure. You look around past 100 years, who talk about that? Those who talk about internal art, talk about this qi, this jing, fa jing, get the students stand there. And then those who talk about this hand technique, that hand technique, this hand technique, this king, whatever, this power, that power, whatever. But then you can expect once you get into sparring with those MMA players, you don't have the VO2 max. You do not know how to manage your breathing. You get KO. So look at in the YouTube how many so-called Chinese grandmaster in Kung Fu get KO by the Western boxer in China and the MMA player in China. You know what is going on. You know exactly what go wrong. So get that part proper. Get that breathing proper. Get the intra-abdominal pressure thing proper. Know what we need to do, what we are not supposed to touch, because scientifically it has been proven that it is lethal. You can cause hernia, you can cause ice pressure, you can cause blood pressure to fly high. Okay? Especially for us who is after, over 40s or over 30s, nowadays, because we don't eat properly, we don't rest properly, our body is not as strong. We need to watch out that. And it also, you see, it boils down to the simple thing, the breathing and the intra-abdominal pressure and the parts of body you need to know about yourself. So the simple thing. Why do we need to have to wait for 100 years? That's why I'm really not satisfied with all this thing, all this grandmaster. What the heck are you guys teaching for past 100 years? It's wasting my life too. Am I right? Well, why do I have to spend 40 years to find out all this bullshit and then and guess what? I'm suffering too, right? I have to pay the price of 40 something years just to sort out to say, oh my God, this is so simple. So this is for you today, okay? Think about it. We need to be living in 2023. We need to know what we are doing so that we can do things effectively, efficiently, can get result, and no point to cause others to suffer. In fact, everybody should not suffer. Everybody should be able to develop Kung Fu. Not keeping to be like the cult follower, keeping following, and they're like a slave, have no days of freedom, okay, or revelations. Buddha didn't teach that. So asking ourselves, do we know what we are doing? If not, it is better to turn to the science, okay? Don't start those philosophy and those interpretation stuff. That's why I say, as in all this book, you see all this scientific drawing and data and everything. I don't trust even myself. I trust only those data because the data keep me honest. Do I preaching bullshit or am I really get the cause and effect? Because only if we got the proper cause and effect, everybody be able to use it. And finally, I want to tell you, like in the chapter 9 here, I give up on Asia. It's not that I don't care. How can you pursue somebody who go for believe in cult to become a normal people? You can. You just have to let people doing whatever they want to do. And for the people who, like us, the ordinary people, who need to live a proper life and who want to live a proper life, only this group of people uh, I am focused on. I don't want to change the world. I don't have the power to change the world, but I do have the power to tell the world to those who really know, to those who really want to know what is going on with science.